Got it. Sometimes it hears itself. Who else doesn't? Kyle, you don't?
I do actually.
You do have it?
Yeah.
You don't? You don't. So blame me. Alright, I'm going to text Creasy. You guys should be getting an email shortly.
So when you enroll in the real estate school for $250 and through Kevo and you start, because my friend Gayla and I are going to do it within like the next couple weeks, but I think she's going to jump in first. Can I study alongside of her until I enroll? We should get like some books and some study tools with
If you do it online, you don't get any books.
because I would just sit in front of a computer with
Yeah, we have. So that's what this is all about. We have. You don't know when they are. Sunday and Wednesdays? Or Saturdays.
It changes a little bit.
It changes.
It bounces.
On the computer.
Contact
You
the
can just save
board.
those like documents.
I think.
It's on Google Calendar.
Okay.
Board's not doing it now,
Bill.
Really?
Yeah, Bill's doing it while her mom's in the hospital.
That came with the school. You just had to look for the link. So I just basically downloaded. I think
But it's on the calendar, Google Calendar with the classes are.
Oh.
You have access
Don't have that
to
recovery time?
Oh, I see.
That's good. That means it's
Yeah.
working.
Call them. They're slow up there.
I know, I did. I
Show
called
up.
them. It
It
takes 10 days
Yeah,
to
that's
process.
Yeah.
Show them donuts.
Super sorry. Okay.
Herb, what do you do?
He's
They're a
gonna be
hard crew up there,
Shrek
but
the musical.
donuts work.
Oh, shit. Very nice. Where at? Where's it performing?
Petite theater.
Somebody's out there wanting glasses.
No shame them. They're gonna knock on the door. You're late.
Should fix it. Okay. Did you pull it up, Baca?
What's that?
Is anyone on it?
I don't have to look
Okay.
And I'm gonna crawl over you. I'm sorry. Thanks first.
Where does it say?
Could make it work on mine.
We got 3 likes already. Damn, that's awesome.
Boom!
Yeah, we're
Tearing it
trending.
up.
We're already trending. All right, Carrie, you want to pop that light off? Give everyone the. There we are. Okay, this is if you have been on a FSBO appointment. They go a lot like this, and a lot of for sale by owners are so hard-headed and don't understand what's going on outside their own house. But this is a lot of the feedback you'll get when you go on for sale by owners calls.
Good morning.
My name is John, and I'm a real estate sales representative.
Hello.
Hello. I see that you are selling your home privately.
Yes, my house is listed with the property man. I have had many website hits.
I saw your website advertisement on propertymen.com. Let me ask, have you considered the benefits of listing your home on the MLS?
No, I'm selling privately and listed with the property man. You can bring your buyers to my home.
That sounds great. So you are cooperating with agents who have buyers for your home?
Yes, but we are not paying a commission. Please bring me your buyers.
So you want me to show your home to my buyers, but you aren't offering any commission?
No, we are selling privately with the property man.
Interesting.
I can offer you a $1,000 fee if you have a buyer who will pay me full asking price.
I understand. I will make a note of that. So tell me, in this competitive real estate market, why did you decide to sell your home yourself rather than list with a real estate agent?
I want to save the commission.
I can appreciate that.
That's why I'm with the property man. I want to save the commission.
If there was an actual financial benefit for you to list your home with me rather than sell it on your own, would you have just a few minutes to meet with me?
No, I want to save the commission.
I see. And if there was a plan that could put more money in your pocket at the end of the sale, would you want to know about it?
No, I want to save the commission.
If I can show you how I can put an extra $5,000 to $10,000 in your hand, even after any commission is paid, can we meet for about 20 minutes? Might you have some time later this afternoon?
No, I want to save the commission.
If I wrote you a check right now for $1 million to list your home with me, would you do it?
No, I want to save the commission.
Is it about selling it yourself or netting the most amount of money?
It is about saving the commission. I have priced my house lower than the MLS competition because I'm not paying a commission.
So because you are not paying a commission, you lowered your price to the point where you will make the same amount of money that you would if you listed your home on the MLS with an agent, but you are doing all the work yourself?
Yes, but I'm saving the commission.
So all you care about is the commission?
That's right. I don't want to pay a commission.
Interesting.
Please bring me your buyers. My property man listing is not bringing me buyers.
And if I have a buyer for your home?
I can offer you a $1,000 fee if you have a buyer who will pay me full asking price.
I understand. I don't think I can help you. Thank you for your time today. Good luck selling your home privately. Have a nice day.
Will you bring me your buyers?
No, probably not. I don't think I will.
Wait. Don't go. How much commission do you charge for listing my home?
That's it. No, keep it up here. Thank you. It was, I mean, that's stupid, but that is the thought process and the mindset of someone who's selling their house by owner. I have a unique perspective because I actually got into real estate because I was trying to sell my house for owner. And so I have a little different understanding of what the person's thinking of when they put that for sale by owner sign in the yard, and they have no idea what they're doing. And they all have the same thought process, they all have the same ideas, and none of it's groundbreaking at all. So for sale by owners is one of our income producing activities. Again, we kind of talk about it each week. There's 4 things: networking, open houses, for sale by owners, recruiting are the 4 things. If anyone asks us what should I be doing right now, what can I do today, we have to be doing one of these 4 things. So this is one of those core activities, one of the 4 things that are important to us. And it's one of the best ways and quickest ways to jumpstart your business from nothing to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 listings. We always tell the story of Curtis, who is the self-proclaimed FSBO king. All he really did was call and make 1 appointment a day for 3 months. And then by the end of that 3 months, he didn't have time to make any more appointments. Ended up selling 50-something houses in his first year, made $100,000 in 12 months, $200,000 in 24 months, and was just, and it's not overly difficult. It's not, he didn't do anything special. He was just very, very, very consistent and stuck to the plan, stuck to the script, and just was consistent. Did his 1 appointment a day. And then I have a similar story, not quite as successful as that one, but I started out part-time for 9 months. And so I did my open houses on the weekends and all that stuff, but for sale by owners kind of jump-started my business as well. When I was part-time, again, consistency is the main thing. So every Thursday at 5 o'clock, because I got off work at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I sat down and I called every FSBO that I could until I filled up my entire Saturday with appointments. So every single Saturday for about 4 or 5 months, I had 5 to 8 for sale by owner appointments. Again, 4 months into it, I had to stop for a month. I had 16 listings because I met an investor who listed 4 houses with me. I met a builder who listed 8 houses with me. And then I met 4 or 5 other people who listed a couple of houses with me. And it's not, I'm not better than anyone else in here. I just did it exactly as I was told to. I was consistent with it, and I did it over time. All these numbers we give you guys are going to be averages. They're going to be over a period of time. We call 10, we should list 3 houses. That's not going to be your first 10, obviously. You call 100, you should list 30 houses. It's going to take you several months to call 100, though, so don't get too excited. So, again, consistency. When you're doing something like this, Brandon always tells everyone the first 10 for sale by owners you call don't count. You're going to stumble over your words on the phone. You're not going to know what to say in person. The first couple you're going to be with your mentor, but after that, the first 10 you do really don't count, so don't even count them. So really on number 11, that's when you're really starting to count your numbers, see if you're getting the same average as we are. we always say if we call 10 for sale by owners, we should get 8 appointments. Of those 8, we should list 3 of the houses. It usually takes 3 to 5 weeks to list a house if you're following up with them properly. So the second most important thing is follow-up, consistency and follow-up. Because if you have a great rapport with someone, you have a great meeting with someone, and then you never follow up with them, then you're lost and they're just going to get picked up by someone else who's not as good. So the mindset of a for sale by owner. When they choose to list this house on their own, whether it be to save the commission or whether it be they don't have the equity in the home, they can't financially afford to pay a realtor, or they think they're smarter than everyone, or they're an attorney and they know how to work contracts, or whatever the situation may be, when they put that sign in the yard, they make a decision in their head, and they put it on Facebook, and they tell all their friends, and they tell everyone, I'm selling this house by owner. And when they do that, you can't change their mind. They've made up their mind, and they've told everyone they're doing it. So if you try to argue with them, you try to tell them this or that, it's going to go just like this. They're going to glaze over, and they're going to just say, I want to save the commission. They're going to say, I'm listing on my own. They're going to say whatever they want. So you have to kind of understand what they're thinking in their head. So if I walk up to them and say, you can't sell your house by owner, statistically, you cannot sell your house. 87% of for sale by owners list with a real estate agent. They can't, whether they don't know what they're doing or they're just, butt heads and they're mean to people or whatever it is, they statistically are not going to be able to sell their house. But if I walk up to you and tell you that, you're going to get pissed at me. It's going to turn into an argument. It's not going to be very amicable. So what we have to do is come from a value-based approach. We want to provide value to these people, build a relationship with them, and then when 87% of them eventually list, it's a really easy decision on who they go with. It's the person who's provided value over the last few weeks, the person who has continued to follow up, the person who's built rapport with me, and I can make a real easy decision when it comes time. We also give our agents the ability to lower the commission, do day-to-day listings. So that combined with those two things is really important, really, really easy. It really turns it into an easy decision for the for sale by owner when they make that. Because the idea, again, if I tell you that you can't do it, it's going to be a fight. But if I just maybe ask you some leading questions that I know the answers to, but I just want you to say it out loud, he starts coming to the realization in his head that I can't do this on my own, and I need your help. And so that's when, with our follow-up, when we go and meet them, when we follow with them weekly, eventually they're going to come to that realization, I'm tired of doing this, I don't want to do this anymore. They start asking questions. What would it be like to list? What would you charge? How would that work? What's the paperwork look like? That's when you know you've got them. So the first part of it, the phone call, this part, we have scripts, and if everyone doesn't have a script, don't leave before you get one. We have scripts we can print out. The phone call should be 45 seconds long, a minute at the tops. It is a very, very easy phone call. We basically call them. This is Brett with Kevo Properties calling about your house on Main Street. Is it still available? If they say yes, we move on. If they say no, okay, great, thanks. They say yes, we say, okay, great. Are you guys open to working with realtors if we have a potential buyer? 90% of the time, they're going to say yes, because they've gotten this phone call before and they understand. The other 10% of the time, they're going to say, what do you mean? And we just tell them, typically for sale by owners pay a 3% commission to the buyer's agent. We have a little script for that. And then we just tell them, can we set up a time to come and preview your home? And that's it. So we're going to ask, is it still available? Are they open to working with buyers or realtors if we have a buyer? And then, can I come and preview the home? That's it. The 3 questions we ask. We answer any questions they may have for clarification. We ask 3 questions and we get off the phone. We set the appointment and get off the phone. We're not trying to hard sell them over the phone. We're not trying to tell them the benefits of listing over the phone. We're not trying to do anything over the phone except set the appointment. So we have a script, really, really simple script. The closer you stick to it, the more successful you'll be. Sometimes people deviate from the script, the sellers. There are thousands of for sale by owners on the internet and you can drive and find them. If we deviate from the script and it goes south and it doesn't work, there's too many of them to try to reel in some guy who's being a butthead and doesn't want to list or anything like that. Hang up the phone, go on to the next one. So our phone call should be about 45 seconds to a minute long, and we'll get the script for that. When we're on anything else in the appointment or setting the appointment, the best way to find them, the easiest way to find them is get on Zillow or forsalebyowner.com, but you're going to have a lot more effective phone calls if we drive around and find them. If you can find a for sale by owner that has a sign in the yard but is not marketing themselves online, you're gonna have a much higher conversion rate on those people because they don't stand a chance. Their only way to sell that house is if someone drives by it and happens to need the exact specs of the home they want and happens to love what's inside it. It's just not gonna happen. So you have a really high probability of converting that if you drive by it and they're not online.
Yeah, Matt was sharing with me. He just started to call for sale by owners, and he goes, "Well, I just realized that every time I see a for sale by owner, that's like $1,000."
Yeah.
If you think about it that way, when you're driving by a for sale by owner and you're on your way somewhere, don't ever tell yourself, "I'll get that later," because you won't.
You won't.
Just I don't care. Turn the car around, go back and get it, take a picture with your phone, whatever. You just have to realize, like every time you see one, that's potential money.
And someone else is already calling on it, probably.
Right. So go ahead. As soon as you see it for sale by owner, go ahead and grab it.
Because I'm sure we've all seen it, and if you haven't, you will. A for sale by owner pop up in your neighborhood, and you're like, I'm going to call them next week, and then the next week, and then Keller Williams sign pops up like 4 days later, and so it happened to me, and so anything that pops up in my neighborhood now, I call it the same day because I don't want to see anyone else's sign. It's stupid. And so I had something off of that too. I can't remember what it was. What did you say? Okay, I don't know. So yeah, again, setting the appointment. Setting the appointment's the easiest part. It's a very, very simple script you follow. Again, 45-second phone call, and then we're done. 2 things you want to make sure they understand when we're calling them. And if they don't understand these things, clarify them because they will piss them off quicker than anything. The first is they want to make sure they know you're a realtor. Do not deceive them, or even if you're not trying to deceive them, if you think at any point they think you're a buyer, clarify them. Stop the conversation and clarify them. Because if they think you're a buyer and you show up and you're a realtor, they're going to be livid, and they're probably going to yell at you. The second thing is make sure they know you're not bringing a buyer on the first showing. Because if they think you're bringing a buyer and you show up by yourself, they're going to be livid. So at any time in the conversation, if you think they are not understanding you, clarify. And we have ways to overcome that. A lot of people say, well, we don't want you to show. We're not going to show unless you have your buyer with you. That's fine. If we can't overcome that objection really quickly, hang up and go on to the next one. But one easy thing that I always say when someone tells me that is, or they ask, are you bringing your buyer? I just say no. Typically with for sale by owners, we come out and preview the property first because we've had some bad experiences in the past. And we don't want to waste any of our buyers' time. So that usually they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and then they allow you. If they still probe or they still fight you or still don't want you to, again, hang up, call the next one. There's no need to spend 10 minutes on the phone with someone because they're probably not going to do anything with you anyway. They're not ready yet. The appointment. So when we get to the house, again, I try not to schedule a for sale by owner appointment more than like a day or 2 days out. Because I've been stood up on accident because, they have their own lives going on. They forget about an appointment they set. So usually a day or 2 days out is the farthest I'll set it up. Again, I used to call on Thursdays and set them up on Saturdays. And even that short of a span I had issues with.
You mean you're not in their driveway when you're calling them?
No. Oh, no.
I'm right outside.
I do call them from down the street, but I don't tell them I'm right outside. I'll just say, I'm available. I'll be in your area like in 30 minutes. So the appointment. When we walk in, the first thing we're going to do, usually what we do when we walk in, and Joe McKinney does a good job of this, he basically says, sell me this house, sell me your house. He walks in and puts them in the hot seat almost right away. Sell me your house, tell me why I should bring my buyers to this house. And Joe can say really aggressive things, but from like a really loving space. I don't know how he does it. He's a preacher. But so I don't do that because it might come off a little aggressive. But I usually just walk in and say, give me a tour, point out anything you guys have updated, anything that you think is worthy that a buyer should know about. And then we just walk around the house at that point. Sometimes if they ever say, go take a look, and they just kind of stand in the corner, that's not good. What we want to do in the first meeting is have as much face-to-face time, because that's what we have and no one else is doing. 90% of the other people that are calling for sale by owners are trying to list it over the phone. They don't even ask to come out and view the property. And so our position is we want to come out, look at the property. We want to build rapport with the person. Then we want to list their property because we know they're not going to list it right now because they're not ready mentally. They're not there yet. So we need to provide value, and then when they're ready, we're going to be there so that we can list it. So we want as much face time as we can get with them. So that's why I always tell, just give me a tour, point out anything, ask stupid questions like how old's the HVAC, water heater, roof, ask these questions like you care about the house, a little bit, right? But you do. But really what we're doing is we're trying to build rapport with this person. There's two ways you build rapport. The first is common, things in common. And the second is showing that you can provide value to them with your expertise, the way you answer questions, the way you talk about the neighborhood, showing him that you're not an idiot. You're a normal person. I'm here to help you. How can I help you? Provide value, and then kind of relate in any way you can. You see it, the guy's wearing an OU shirt, talk about the OU game last week or something like that. Kind of build rapport in any way you can. So we do the tour usually, and again, this is mine, so stop me, or if anyone else has had good success anywhere else. So we do the tour. I talk with them. Through the tour, you try to probe a little bit, find out why they're moving. The more you can learn about their motivation to sell, the better you can be in providing value for them. So kind of talk with them a little bit, where are you and the wife going, blah, 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 have the tour. And then when you're done with the tour, that's when you kind of have an opportunity to kind of chat a little bit. And that's when you can really talk about anything. The first half should be about the house, kind of. How many bedrooms? What's that roof like? What's the HVAC like? Great, blah, blah, blah. We get done. Now we're kind of talking about you and your motivations. A good way to start that conversation is I'll always ask them, so if I sell this house tomorrow, can you be out in 30 days? And it's a leading question where they can tell me their situation, basically. They're going to say, well, yeah, we can be out because we already bought a house here, or no, we're building a house, or we're moving to Indiana, so we can be out whenever. So they can kind of, it's a leading question for them to basically pour what their situation is. Dig into their situation, understand their motivations. If they just bought the house a year ago and it's a new construction house, we see that a lot. People don't have the equity in the house to pay a realtor. Reducing your commission can be very effective in that situation. If the guy's an engineer or a lawyer, which probably like 60% of for sale by owners are, because they think they're smarter than everybody. Yeah, they just
very logical. Why would you pay a realtor?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Pay a barber to cut my hair. I'll just do it myself. So yeah, that's a good. I could cut my own hair or defend myself in court. I'm not going to be very good at it. We're going to lose a lot of money. But again, that's their thought process. So so kind of dig into what their situation is, what they plan on doing, anything that can help you provide value to them. And then let me see.
I think just a general rule is when you're selling anything, right? Whether you're doing buyers or sellers, be interested, not interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
You want to ask 10 times more questions than making statements. And a lot of realtors I've seen get in trouble because they kind of go into a situation trying to show the seller that they know what they're doing by making statements. But really, you're trying to dig and find out what the seller's motivations are for selling their home, why they didn't list for sale by owner, because there's a myriad of reasons besides saving the commission. Maybe they don't have enough equity, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe they just have a misunderstanding of how the situation works. But we want to ask those questions, and the more questions you ask, the more chance you have for the wall that they have, because they all have a wall, for that wall to come down. Typically, I was telling Matt this yesterday, in a regular conversation, if you just meet a brand new person, a stranger, typically there's 3 to 5 lies exchanged in that conversation, okay? And if you probably are honest with yourself, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see that. And it's just because they're a stranger and you don't know them and you're not really willing to open up. Now, they might not be out and out like you're telling the opposite, but you maybe not be completely forthright with your situation. In a sales scenario, double it or triple it. I mean, those people, because a lot of times realtors will say, well, they told me they don't have to sell. They're not ready.
We're not in a hurry.
We're not in a hurry.
We don't have to sell.
Right.
I can hold it for the next 2 years.
Right.
I mean, these are things.
So don't hold it against them, but just realize they're lying for having that conversation, the first conversation that you have with them, just because they don't know you, and they're not really willing to be open with their conversation. But the more questions you ask in that initial conversation, and the more questions you ask continually throughout the relationship, the more they're going to connect with you. Because when you find out their motives, you can deliver the solution to their problem, right? What's their problem? The problem is Okay, because they'll tell you like, well, yeah, we've had lots of interest. Yeah, oh yeah, we have showings all the time. The reality of it is they've got people calling to do lease to own, right? They're going like, hey, will you do a lease purchase on this? Are you willing to rent it? Unqualified buyers and realtors. That's who's calling them, right? They're not really getting calls from buyers who are pre-qualified, ready to go. Why? Because most of the time those buyers are working with realtors. 8 out of 10 times they're working with realtors. And somebody who's savvy enough to buy it without a realtor wants a 6% discount off the top. They're just looking for a great deal. So they're trying to save 6%, and the buyers are trying to save or the sellers are trying to save 6%. So they both can't save the same 6%. So just the way they go into the situation, they're not really. They have sort of this optimistic, idealistic. Okay, I can sell this on my own and save 6%. Why would I spend $10,000 hiring a realtor? And they just don't really have an understanding of the process.
Right.
They don't understand. Also, like if you were to ask them about closing costs and all that, so they don't have a clue.
Yeah.
So you going into that situation will make them more money done the right way, and especially with with your ability with this company to adjust your commission, you can save them a lot of money than going up with a different realtor. So, but ask the questions that lead to what the problem is, so you can custom make your presentation to deliver the solution. Because if it's like, I don't want to get stuck in a contract, well, then you can be like, hey, we do it day to day.
Yeah, that's easy.
And then you don't have to really lower your commission if you don't want to. Right?
I got a question. What do you do when you get to the point where you've said you would list it for 4.5%? They have told you they would give you 3% if you brought them a closing buyer.
Yeah.
Their house is worth $130,000. To get them to bridge the gap between 3 and 4.5.
They have. You can't. So it's kind of one of those things. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person and the right thing to the wrong person. So if they're not ready to spend 4.5%, you can again. What if I wrote you a check for $1 million? Would you list with me? No, I don't
Just
want
keep
to.
waiting for it.
Yeah, follow up is the only thing.
You have to remember, you're not living in the world of logic. Anytime you're dealing with buyers or sellers, the logic thing, forget about it.
Completely
Right?
emotional.
Right? They're not thinking like, oh, well, that makes sense to me. Well, I'd get more, marketing ability, and then I'd be to a bigger pool of buyers. They're not thinking that way because they're not in this world. They're just like, I just don't want to spend any more money than I have to.
Yeah.
So selling a home or buying a home, as you've noticed, is a very emotional process. So it's more important for you to connect with them than for you to deliver a presentation, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I got a couple questions on the follow up, because I've called a ton of people lately, and gone out to see their homes. Some people they won't respond, and because I've called them back.
Yeah.
But so I want to kind of get a feel for, what do you say when you call them back
On the follow up.
On the follow up, and you may be getting to that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I'm trying to go through but yes.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
answer that
fine,
question.
because that's what I'm.
Because that's the biggest thing, because that's the most important part of the process. Is follow up. If you don't follow up, the rest of this has been a waste of time.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll do that. So we're still in the appointment right now. We're asking, we're building rapport. Again, we want to dig to find out what their motivations are, because I went on one with Ben last week, and the guy, obviously, first thing he says is, we're not in a big hurry to sell, but there's nothing in the house except for a blow up mattress. And what we found out was his family moved to Idaho last week, and he's living here alone on an air mattress until he sells it. So bullshit. You are very much in a hurry to sell, to get back with your family, and to not live on an air mattress. So again, they're all going to say that. So when you did, you can find out. Okay, well now I know what buttons to push for this guy. Hey, let me help you out. Let me get you to your family quicker. Let me get you to your new job quicker, your new house quicker. They might be living in an apartment up there waiting to sell so they can buy. So now I know what his motivation is, and I can push on it. So when we're there, we want to build. First thing we want to do is we want to build rapport, walk around, we're talking. At the end, we're kind of chit-chatting, and there's 3 questions we want to ask before we end the conversation. So again, I can't tell you can't sell your house. If I tell you that, the wall goes up, and my eyes glaze over, and I'm just blah blah blah. So what we do is we ask them questions to get them to say something out loud, so that they think it themselves, and I don't have to tell them. And the 3 questions are: what kind of traffic have you been getting? What kind of feedback have you been getting? And have you gotten any offers? And so the conversation kind of go like this: what kind of traffic have you been getting? If he says a bunch, or if he says none, we ask him. The goal is we want to get him to say, I don't know, right? Because once he says, I don't know, then he starts to realize how can I? What am I doing wrong? What would you do? When he starts asking questions, then it turns into a conversation. That's what you want. So we ask him, how much traffic are you getting? If he says none, why don't we think anyone's coming to look at it? He says, I don't know. Then we move forward. If he says we're getting a ton of traffic, okay, the next question is, what kind of feedback are these people giving you? If he says, well, I haven't gotten any feedback, well, then we say, why don't you think they've been giving you any feedback? If they say, everyone loves it, right? Because no one's going to tell the owner of the home they hate their house. So we're getting a ton of traffic, ton of feedback. Everyone says they love the house. Well, have you get on any offers? Why don't you think you're actually writing any offers? So the house hasn't sold yet, so he's going to say, I don't know at some point. Or he's going to...
I haven't used that, but I mean, I've used that indirectly. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
You're getting him to an I don't know.
Yeah. And I know he hadn't sold his house yet.
Yeah.
And I know he doesn't know why, or else he'd do it. And so he's going to eventually say, I don't know why I haven't sold my house. Why do you think it hasn't sold? And I can tell him the main reason, which is 99% of the time it's overpriced. But that's the goal. Those are the 3 questions we want to ask to plant a seed in his head that I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this. And again, I can't.
You're a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4-year-old.
Yeah.
It really is. Well, everybody. Well,
If
since
you
we're
don't have a 3 or 4-year-old, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, you have to make them think they thought of it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's a fight. One thing I never do, and some people might say different. I think Curtis does a little different. Is I never pitch a listing on the appointment. I think Curtis might even throw it out at the end. Hey, if you ever get tired of this, we do 4.5% listing. No rush, no pressure. If you have any questions, call me. He just kind of throws that out there and then he leaves. I think he kind of throws that out.
Yes.
So I never do that on the first one. In my experience, the minute you try to do what everyone else is doing, their eyes glaze over and they stop listening to you. Because that's what everyone's doing. Everyone goes out there with listing presentations. That's not what I'm doing. They're not ready to list yet. If at any point they tell me I'm getting tired of this, or my wife and I are thinking about listing it next week, something like that, then I'll go after it. But if we're just talking and he never mentions that, you can tell when someone's confident in what they're doing and when they're not. And so if they think I'm doing fine, I'm getting tons of showings, when you pitch them, it's just you're just like everyone else and they forget about you.
Yeah, there's an expectation when you're going out there. They're gonna try to list my house, and if
Yeah,
you walk out
and
of
if you
there
don't.
and you don't, then they're like, hey, that
Yeah.
wasn't what I expected.
Yeah. Was my house
So
not good
right
enough?
here- Yeah, right.
It's kind of the takeaway. Like,
Yeah.
You know, when you're telling somebody, oh, we can definitely do this. Oh, wait a minute, never mind. I don't,
No, they
sure
want it.
about, do it. Then they want it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So I never do that. No, it's not right or wrong. Some people do it, and Curtis has tremendous success with FISBO. So it's not anything's right or wrong, but I try not to because in my experience, I've seen people just kind of put up a wall and everything we've talked about is gone now because I did what they expected me to do. One thing I do always when I leave, which kind of leads to you, is last thing out of my mouth as I'm walking out the door, I shake their hand, thanks a lot. I just tell them, hey, I'm going to follow up with you in a week to make sure the home's still available. Is that all right? They always say yes. Now they're expecting my phone call in a week. Because I used to always think, went on the appointment, I didn't list it. We kind of had a good conversation, but if I just call them out of the blue, it's weird, or they don't answer, and then I call them again the next week. So if I'm telling them what I'm doing beforehand, hey, I'm going to call you in a week, make sure it's still available. I'll tell them I don't want to tell a buyer about it if it's already sold, right, or if the price drops. So I'm going to call you in a week, make sure everything's going well. Is that all right? He'll say, yeah. Now they're expecting that. Go ahead.
Okay, so you don't want to tell a buyer about it if you've dropped the price or lowered the price.
Yeah. I'll just say I don't want to tell a buyer about it if it's already sold.
Okay.
That's the main thing.
Okay.
And then he's
Because
like,
I had one guy say, well, it'll be on Zillow if we lower the price. So that's why I was just kind of.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
you
can-
like a jerk.
You can under.
You can that's somebody who
undercut-
just doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the thing.
And
is
I know
most-
it's not
most
a
these-
perfect.
Yeah.
You won't.
Yeah, you'll get stuff like
1,000
that.
on every shot. But
And here's one thing: is if someone's a butt, they're a butt to everyone, and they're not going to sell their house. They're not just being mean to the realtors; they're probably being mean to the buyers
Yeah,
too,
probably so.
because for whatever reason, that's just. And you may have got someone on a bad day. There's don't take anything personal at all in this industry because again, no one's acting on logic. It's all emotion and it's all reaction. So don't worry about that.
Here's a question for you, Brett.
Mhm.
You got to the end now and you're leaving. Now that we have that FISBO app, where do you want that in?
I'm gonna do that last.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably should. I'll do it last.
Okay.
Throw me off, Amy.
Sorry.
I think it's good to do it last because it just gives you one more thing to think about whenever we're just trying to understand the psychology of this part.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. This is all new technology. I'm not used to yet, so I'm getting through the The normal stuff. Okay, so we're gone. We tell him, hey, I'm going to follow up in a week or so. Make sure it's still available. He says, great. Now he's expecting your call. We always do our follow-ups on Monday. Even if you saw it on Friday, follow up with them, 2 days later, 3 days later on Monday. Because the weekend happened. You may have had an open house. Weekend shoppers come through. There's something to talk about. Now, if you do it Sunday, I usually wait till the next Monday. It's all preference. But Monday is a good day to call them because they're pissed off because they didn't sell it over the weekend. So it's a great time to talk to them about it. To kind of, how'd it go? We had 3 people through and found out none of them are qualified. Or whatever, they're ticked off because it's not going smoothly. So we're doing follow-ups on Mondays. Always on Mondays. Consistently every single Monday. If you miss one, there's another realtor out there, probably in this office, who's calling them every day. So if you miss one, someone else is going to get it. It's that simple, and we've seen it several times in here. So every Monday, have to follow up.
What time is the best? I mean, like straight up in the morning. When did you?
I usually try to call them when you got a hold of them the first time. Again, I did all mine 5 to 6 because they're not at work. They're leaving work. They're not home eating dinner yet. It's that was always my successful period, 5 to 6 in the evening. But I mean, people call them in the mornings, after lunch, around lunchtime. People have success. I mean, does anyone else have any time they've had a lot of success with people?
Yeah, I think it depends on your price ranges. I mean, if it's a $500,000 house,
call them after work.
you can call them during the day.
Anytime.
Actually,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can call.
I don't call
Those
after
big
work.
ones you can call them anytime and be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
But yeah, if it's less than that, you're probably a 5 to 6. I would think. I don't know, Jasmine. What do you think?
well, yeah, no, I agree. But what I don't want is I don't want you to get so caught up on trying to catch them in a certain window, and you're not good at time blocking and so
Yeah.
on and so
Just
forth,
call 'em
and
when
then
you're-
you don't do it. So call them whenever you think of it, even if you have to leave a voicemail. You still followed up.
Yeah. And a voicemail, in my opinion, I don't know, a voicemail counts as a follow-up.
Yes.
You don't want to badger them, but you want to follow up like you said you would. I had one of my very first visibos I got. I don't think I knew any better, so I just did it. I called the guy he answered the first time I followed up, and then for 4 weeks in a row, he didn't answer. I just left him a voicemail every single Monday. And on that 6th week, he called me back, and he was an out-of-town seller. His dad was opening the house during showings. Like, he had no business selling his house. And he called me back, and through the conversation, he said, yeah, no, I like you. You've been diligent. And so he mentioned the fact that I was calling and following up So even though they're not calling you back, they're getting those voicemails.
Yeah.
Whether they delete them or they listen to them, they're getting them. And so eventually you're going to catch them.
Yeah, they're not. By the way, they're on those voicemails. They're not going, "Oh, I hate that guy. Let me delete
Right.
his voicemail." They're just going, "Oh yeah, I probably need to call him back." But it registers at the back of their mind,
Yeah.
right? That's on the list of priorities. Calling you back is not a priority.
Yeah.
But they log that you go, "Oh, okay, he followed up with me,
Right.
like he said he was going to, or whatever."
And that's especially when you're new and you're calling people and they're not calling you right back. You think, oh God, they hate me or they don't want to talk to me. All these people have things going on in their life just like we all do. And if they're not calling you right back or if they don't call you back at all, if you call me and don't leave a voicemail, I'll never call you back because stuff gets in the way and I forget. If I have a voicemail, it reminds me to listen and call them back right then.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
Ah.
If it's important.
If it's
That's
important.
all of us. That's all of us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just
especially-
know that's what I do with salespeople because I mean, when I was buying a car or whatever, they'd be like, if I went and visited
Yeah, they
them,
called
they
me
would
3
call me
times.
back they'd follow up like once a day, and I was like, it was something that I had to do, it was something I needed to do, but it just didn't make my priority list that day.
Yeah.
Still bought from them and wasn't offended by it, but it's just like I didn't get back with them right away.
Yeah, and you almost appreciate it. I called the
Yeah.
buyer yesterday, and he's like, I'm so glad you reached out to me because I've been forgetting blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he called Shelby an hour later and got him pre-approved. So
Yeah.
people just need reminders. People, you're not bothering them. Don't call them every 20 minutes or anything weird. But
I feel like I'm always constantly reminded, or not constantly, but get that reinforcement that, oh, I'm not bothering. I wasn't bothering this person because they reach out to you and be like, hey, thanks for calling me, or
Yeah.
I've been super busy, or
Yeah.
or people even are apologetic, like, sorry, I haven't been gotten back to you, and so it's like, oh, I'm not like, they don't think of me as like the Grim Reaper. It's my imagination.
Yeah.
because really, yeah.
It feels like it because we're doing it to so
It's
many
our whole,
people.
it's our livelihood
Exactly.
too. It's like
Yeah.
we're living and breathing this every minute of the day, and they're thinking about it like 30
Right.
seconds a day,
Yeah.
maybe.
Right.
And realistically, especially with for-sale by owners, because people have a big mental block about, because it feels like a cold call, and it kind of is. But really, when you think about it, statistically, 87% of them cannot sell their house. They need you. It doesn't feel like it because you're the one calling them, but they need you to call them and list them. And they need you to do it because you work for Kevo and you're the most trained and have the most resources than anyone out there. So they really, really need you to call them. Doesn't feel like it, and they might fight you on it a little bit, but you're doing them and yourself a service by doing it. And you kind of have to change that mindset a little bit so that you can get past that mental block. Because it is, if you're not used to talking to people on the phone, it can be a little nerve-wracking. But the cool thing is you can hang up and you'll never see them again for your entire life. Never even hear their name again. So
and you just have to remember, you're going to get, just naturally, you're going to get 1% better with each for somebody on the call. So in 90 days, you're 100%, you're 90% better than you were. And so you'll get more and more. So it's been kind of interesting to watch the progression of people from calling for sale by owners. Remember that first 10 was just a disaster and scary and freaked out and stumbling over your words. And then, look at them in 60 days or in 90 days and it's a completely different scenario and it's easy and they connect with the person pretty easily. And so just know that it's going to be difficult at the beginning and you're going to screw it up, but you do it enough and you're going to be successful.
Yeah. This is one of those things that you can't get good at without doing it. So reading all the literature, coming to these classes is great. It's going to help you to give you an edge, but you're not going to get better at it unless you just do it. Calvin in our office, he's been calling a bunch of people. And when he first started, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, his voice was shaky. He was just like, it was just uncomfortable to listen to him on the phone. Now, that first 3 weeks, all those people, he's not going to get them probably, but now he has that confidence in his voice. He knows what to expect. He knows what answers are going to come from the person. He can rebut them. And so, yeah, he didn't get any of that business, but now he's going to get more business because he did all that. And so you're not going to be good your first 10. You're going to screw it up. You're going to say something stupid. It's fine. But again, like you said, every time you do one, you're 1% better. So, okay, so we're done. We asked the guy if we can follow up next week. Monday comes. Now we're following up. There's no real right answer to when to call him back. Again, it's kind of whenever you got him the first time, maybe. If you have a certain time. Time blocking is good. If you don't get a hold of him, it's okay to leave a voicemail. I'd say 99% of the time they don't call you back because all you're doing is calling to see how everything's going. And then you'll say, I'll reach out again next week. And then they expect it again. So when we get them, we are, and again, there's probably a dozen different ways to have this conversation. Where I've had success is I basically have the exact same conversation I had when I was at the house. I asked that guy how his family's doing in Idaho. How are they liking it? Are they getting settled in? Yeah, great, okay. And then I moved to business a little bit, and I say the same 3 questions. What kind of traffic did you guys get in the past week? Did you guys get a lot of showings this past week? Yes. Oh, good. They give you any good constructive feedback? No. Well, I have that same conversation. Every time I talk to him, I'm asking him about traffic, I'm asking him about feedback, and I'm asking if he got any offers. Because if he keeps telling me no on all these things, eventually it's gonna get into his head that I'm not having any success with this. And eventually, if you can get him to say I don't know, if you can get him to say no, hopefully they ask you, what do you think? Why don't you think anything? What can I do to this, that, blah blah blah. And it's not a lot of it's not overly difficult. Again, most of the time it's going to be, unfortunately, your price is a little high. Or the condition. People are going to want a new carpet at that price, or people are going to want blah, 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 whatever. Provide value any way you can, guys. That's the only way you're going to get FSBOs is if you're providing value. If they perceive you to be the best option financially and, value-wise.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a question for you. At what point do you tell them that it's probably because their house is overpriced, and at what point do you say, hey, you know what, I'll list it at a reduced commission?
I usually, go ahead.
Let me jump in on that. So I usually would never tell somebody that their house is overpriced until we're maybe coming down to list it, okay? Because here's why. If you tell somebody their house is overpriced, they get defensive real fast, okay? That puts up a wall, and then basically all the work you've done to get to this point is undone. One of the first things they say is, I said, I can deliver comps to you, but ultimately we have no idea what your house is worth until we get it on the market. The problem is you're invisible, right? You are limiting your exposure to only people who drive by and maybe see it on Zillow. 85% of the people are working with a realtor. More realtors are going to be comfortable bringing you buyers if you're on the MLS. So first of all, number one, you're not using the tool that's widely available to bring buyers to you. So we don't know until we get it on the MLS, right? Then after we get it on the MLS, then we're going to look at, of course, what do your pictures look like on the MLS, and then we're going to look at price and condition, showings, and offers. So if you can kind of get them in that, and the next probably class is about listing the right way or open house.
I think the next one is listing, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're working from a first sell by owner to a listing. Because if we can get them into the realm, or we can get them into price and condition, showings, and offers, then you can walk your seller right into the sale on their home. right? Based on what the market is telling them about their house, not you,
Yeah.
right? I'm
blame
not
it on
telling
the
you your
market.
house is overpriced. The market is telling you your house is overpriced. If the market can't tell you your house is overpriced, you need to get on the market.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to kind of put them in that funnel to where they can walk down that, get them into that logical scenario where we can walk them through the sales process.
But they probably don't trust you either yet. So
Right.
Well, I mean,
they're
anytime
thinking,
they
"He's
ask you
gonna sell it
questions,
fast to get the commission. It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
it's all about him just getting his commission, so he's gonna lower
Right.
the price, get it gone. Like
Yeah.
Right.
they're thinking all of those things.
yeah, and
Right.
that was actually a conversation we had with the guy who his family's in Idaho, because we asked him, "Have you had a bad experience with a realtor in the past?" He's like, "Yeah, our last realtor just I can't remember what else. She did something, but then she wanted to slash the price every week to get it sold quick and get her commission." I was like, "Well, that's not why she wanted. Well, that's probably why, but."
Yeah.
The days on market is a slow bleed.
Yeah.
If you don't sell it in your first 30 days, after that, people are wondering why it didn't sell in the first 30 days. Even if you slash price, people are coming in wanting to know why. And it's stupid, and I encourage my buyers not to think about it. If you like the house, you like the house. But unfortunately, buyers think of that. If it's been on the market 2, 3, 4, 5 months, first thing they want to know is why it's been on the market so long.
So to recap, basically you're saying let them know that you don't know where it needs to be priced exactly because you're not getting the exposure that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're only getting a very small amount in front of a small amount of people.
Right.
Because even if you told them that the price was too high in a way that made them comfortable, then it's going to give them confidence to say like, you know what, I need to drop my price, and then that process might go on for another few weeks, and they're comfortable with you. But then you're like basically working through them, and they're still controlling everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And the best thing that you can always do is blame it on the market. I think your house is worth every penny. Unfortunately, the market's kicking it back. We haven't got any offers. We're not getting enough showings.
One of the things I say is I don't have a problem with your price necessarily. It's like I'm not saying your house isn't worth as much, but basically we're just looking for the market to tell us what your house is worth, right? So I say I'm not saying your house isn't worth this much. I'm just saying it's not worth this much right now.
Or right here. So
Yeah.
a lot of things that when I'm working on the buyer side, people are like, oh, if I could just take this house and put it here. So that's something that people can relate to. So I always say, if I could take your house and put it in, Yukon somewhere, we could definitely get this in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, because of where we're at, we kind of have to play by the rules of this market.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, it's always good to blame it on the market.
Well, it really is the market.
Yeah.
It's not you. You're not trying to you're not beating people up. It's like people just aren't realizing that their house isn't worth as much as they think.
No.
And that's hard to do. And if you deliver that message to them, like you're saying it, you become the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right? Don't get all that negative energy on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, deflect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, they're not using logic,
No.
and they're gonna get mad at something.
Yeah.
Might as well be the market.
They're going to get mad at
Buyers.
you at some other process or some
Yeah.
other point in the process. So.
I mean,
Don't
I
let
had
it
a
be that
seller last week just shoot me. She's like, well, I'm impressed with those property brothers. They sell the houses in 3 days. And
Are you kidding me?
TV?
True life. Like, real life. This is what she, and I'm like, okay, well, if this was
Call
that
up.
kind of market,
Down here.
we
Yeah,
have
see,
our
they'll
own
list your
TV
properties.
show as well. But we're not in Vegas or New York
Oh my
or California. So that's why we don't have a TV show here in Oklahoma. We're just not that interested.
Ridiculous.
I can't believe she said that.
I love that. Okay, so back to the follow-up. Did I answer your question, Carrie? So really, we want to just 10 minutes ago when we talked about it. Really, on the follow-up, we're basically picking up the conversation right where we left it off. So if we were talking about their kids, their dogs, or whatever, touch base on it. How's everything going? One FSBO told me that her grandson broke her arm that week, and so I asked him how he's doing. Whatever. Pick the conversation up right where you left it off, whatever you were talking about, and then ask those 3 questions again. We want to plant a seed of doubt in their head that will grow into a listing for us. So we want them to come to the realization that I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this, and that's by asking them what kind of traffic. Because again, that's what we're gonna do. Is if someone says, "Why ain't my house selling?" I'm gonna say how many showings are you getting and how many offers are you getting. Same thing we teach every time. So if they're not getting those things, we need to either change the price or the condition for the market to deem that it's worth that, has that value. So we ask those questions, plant a seed in their head, seed of doubt, and then eventually, again, 3 to 5 weeks is probably average, 3 to 6 weeks maybe to convert, depending on the person, depending on the property, whatever. That's any other follow up?
No, just do it. Just make sure you're doing it. That's
The most important part.
problem we have. It's not really necessarily realtors calling for sell by owners, is that they don't follow up.
The main reason we came up with the app was to
Prompt it.
prompt a follow up, because people just weren't. They'd call them for 2 weeks, and then they'd say, I didn't have a good rapport with that guy, and they stopped calling them. But again, if you don't have a good rapport with the guy, probably no one has a good rapport with the guy.
Yeah.
He just might be that kind of guy who's cold and shut off, and he's put a wall up in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Keep calling, because if you stop calling, someone else, they're probably all going to stop calling, and you'll be the one who gets it because you're the only one calling. So.
Yeah. I probably have told you guys this before, but the statistics are this: 70% of the sales are made after the 5th call, and only 7% of salespeople will make more than 5 calls. So, what is it? 93% of salespeople miss out on 60% of the business. That was a big maze. I memorized that though, but it's true. So you have to follow up enough to get all that business that's made after the 5th call.
And follow up is not just in the FSBOs. That's your buyers, your open house,
Yeah.
your current sellers, recruits, people who are in school. Because if you're not in front of them all the time, someone else will get in front of them right at the exact moment. That's why open house. We have such success with open houses, because people walk in and we get in front of them right when they need it. If they don't need it right now, then we follow up properly and we're constantly in front of them so when they do need it. Because otherwise, someone will be there at some point and they're just going to use whoever's in front of them most of the time.
And a lot of times it's a compliment to follow up with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Interesting.
don't think of it as annoying. They think, oh, I'm valuable to them.
Yeah.
They're like, they take me serious. They look up to me. They respect me.
Mhm.
They see me as a potential in some form. You
Yep.
know, when you don't follow up with someone, it's kind of almost like you're saying, no, you're not worth my time. You don't
Yeah.
know anything.
Right.
It's very offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got, I actually wrote up an offer yesterday with a guy on my listing because he's like, look, I've been trying, like, my agent won't follow up with me and I want to make this offer. I've been trying to get a hold of her for a few days. Can I just write it with you?
An idiot.
Yep.
Great example.
Absolutely.
You just made her share of the commission.
Absolutely.
Nice.
It happens. Yeah. People are.
Did you sell it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Like sold.
All
Let's
right.
close this thing quick before she finds out.
Right. Like, when can you meet at Starbucks? Good. See you there.
Okay. So that's it, guys. It's not an overly complicated process. The cool thing about for sale by owners, after you do your first 10, they're all the exact same. They say the same. They ask the same questions. They have the same concerns. They have the same objections. And so if you do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you know what they're going to say, and you can come up with great ways to overcome objections. And it's just easy at that point. It really, really is. Consistency is the only way to do it, and you just got to do a bunch of them. Any questions on the setting? Does anyone have any trouble setting appointments? Anyone have any trouble following up? Any trouble at the appointment that you want to discuss? All right, good. The app.
Go for it.
Want me to do it? I'm probably
Yeah,
the
yeah.
worst one in here.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. Did everyone give Baca their information if they didn't have the app already?
I got your names. I basically texted Christy, but I think she's still sleeping.
Yeah.
So we'll just walk you through it. You should get an email from Christy that prompts you to sign up for the app. If you have problems with it, call her and we'll work you through it so we make sure you get it. I'm gonna forward you the little app thing.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot from the hip here. Okay, when you sign into it, this is a web-based app, so it's not gonna be in the app store or anything. It's a mobile website essentially is what it is. You sign it, you pull it up. It's gonna take you to a sign-in screen. Pretty easy stuff so far.
It's KevoWeb.com, is that correct?
Yes. KevoApp.com. So when you come in, there's a home screen. I'm really far away, I know. There's a home screen. There's 3 options. There's capture, there's search, and there's confirm. So capture is going to be when we're actually at the house. This is how we input stuff, is through capture. Search is if I have a buyer and I can't find anything on the market, I'm going to go and search the app to see if there's any FSBOs or any coming soon properties that I can maybe take my buyer to. Confirm is Monday morning, and I need to go in and follow up with all my FSBOs. That's what the confirm process is. Confirm they're still on the market. Confirm we're following up. That's what that is. So first, when we're at the property, you have to turn on your location services or where it knows where you're at. Because what it does is it'll find out where you're at, and it's supposed to pinpoint you in a property, in a house.
It won't do it on commercial.
Yeah, because we're in a building. Okay, so it tells me I'm in an office right now, so it's not going to pull it up. But if I was in a residence, or if it's like one house off, it'll pull it up, and it will. So when you pull it up, it's going to say searching for property address, and then it's going to pop up an address. So I just clicked on one, 701 Northwest 49th. And if you're in that house, 701 Northwest 49th, you click create listing. If you're not in that house and it puts you on the next door neighbor's house or something, then you can just move it. You can zoom in and just click on the next door neighbor's house. Now we're at 619. That's the right property. Okay, so now we have the right property. I click create. So let me go back. The sales process, the sales part of this process. When we're there, did they give like an official sales pitch? You were at that meeting, weren't you?
Yeah, they did.
They didn't? Okay. So we want to sell this to the FSBO. One way, let's see, how did I do it? I feel like I had a really good way last week. I forgot it. Basically, one of the biggest things that for sale owners fight is their exposure. They're not getting enough exposure. However you want to tell them this is good. But basically, one of your biggest things is you don't have enough exposure. If you want, we have a free app that allows us to help our buyers and help our sellers. And when you input it in this app, you expose it to over 150 realtors, over 300 buyers immediately. It's free. So that's kind of how does that make any sense? Kind of. You guys kind of know about it, so it makes sense to you. So basically what you want to say is what this does is when I input your information here, it's going to immediately expose it to over 150 real estate agents that work in the area and over 300 buyers. We're saying everyone, average of 2 buyers a realtor. I think that's fair. Yeah, low. So that's how we kind of sell it. Has anyone ever had any kickback from it?
No, I've only done it once, and basically what I did at the end, I was like, it's a great property, and I understand right now you're still wanting to do the for sale by owner thing, but my office, we have over 150 agents. I have an app that once I input your listing into it, it'll at least share it with those 150 agents. Because the reality is that agents with qualified buyers aren't looking at for sale by owners. Yeah. But with this app, they are. And so by me, putting your information here, it at least exposes you to, almost 1,000 other buyers. So all I have to do is put it in. You don't have to do anything. I'll take a good picture of it, and it'll be good to go. And let's see if we can get your house sold. Yeah. So don't overcomplicate it. Calvin was telling me like most people were telling him no. I didn't understand it, so I was like, "Tell me what you're telling them." And he kind of just went on for like 3 minutes. And I was like, "You're confusing them, and they don't know what's going on, so they're just saying no." And you don't ask, you tell.
And don't ask. Just say, "Yeah, I'm going to put you in here. It's going to blah blah blah."
I also told people that we're putting your property through the one extra filter of knowing that you're going to work with a buyer's realtor at 3%.
Yeah.
So that's,
make sure they understand that.
They're not going to have to go through Zillow and make that call to determine that it's already been done, and we know you're ready to work with a realtor.
Right. So that's you have to get their permission to put it on here. You can't just put it on here. So that's usually what we'll tell them is it's going to expose it to our entire office. Because realistically, a lot of buyers or a lot of realtors don't look for sale by owners when they're actually working with a buyer. Only when there's just nothing online or on MLS do I go to for sale by owners. So it's going to expose it to them immediately. So when we're there, if they say, "Yeah, okay, that sounds good," I'll pull it up. It should pinpoint the house I'm in. It should pop up and just say the exact house I'm in. If I'm actually in 619 49th, I'm going to create listing. And it should automatically pull up their names. Yeah. So Michael David Hansen lives at this property. And then I will put in my phone number and email, right?
You can do theirs or yours. It's your option. But when you save it, it'll show yours.
Oh, it only shows mine. Okay, so yeah, you put their phone number, their email, and it says neighborhood. So it's going to automatically pull up the addition from the county records, but neighborhood would be like, we use Mesta Park as an example. It's actually called the University Edition. Legal edition of University, but it's called Mesta Park. So I'll type in Mesta Park here, and then that way when it sends out a text to everyone, it's going to say new home, Mesta Park, whatever. And so I'll know right away it's in Mesta Park. Put in the sales price. Put in what percentage they agree to pay commission, or if it's a fixed rate, if they just plan on paying like a $3,000 finder's fee, you'll put that in. And then the listing type, is it a for sale by owner or is it an upcoming listing? So this is another option. If I know there's a house being renovated and I'm going to get the listing, I can just put it in here and show people in Kevo they can look at it before it actually comes on the market, or they'll know about it before it comes on the market. So if it's an upcoming listing or a FSBO, 90% of them in here are FSBOs. And then condition. So this one's a little tricky. You kind of have to use your you have to figure it out. But basically, it asks for the condition. Is it in poor condition? A possible flip house? Possible short sale? Is it updated 50% or is it updated 100%? So is that going to be like, it's got new carpet but the bathrooms aren't redone, or the bathroom's redone but not the kitchen, or the whole thing's redone? You kind of have to just use your judgment on that. But you'll put in the condition. So you put in the seller's phone number, a seller's email, the neighborhood it's in, the sales price, the commission, whether or not it's a FSBO or a early listing, and the condition. And then at the top, you'll hit the camera, and you'll say take photo, and then you'll take a photo, and then it will show up in the app. So if I'm going through it and I pull it up, we can only put one photo in the app. So it's got to be of the exterior of the home. So we'll put that in there, and then we come down and hit save property. So as soon as we hit save property, I think it's supposed to do it like every 15 minutes. It sends it through a queue where it will send a text message out to the entire company saying, hey, it'll say new listing, 400,000, Mesta Park, inputted by Brett Kreger. And then now everyone will know that I just went to a FSBO or I just put a new listing coming up in Mesta Park or wherever it may be. The benefit of this is Sherry just went out and did a new construction? I can't remember. Sherry just went out and put in an upcoming listing. She went out and did a listing presentation. They signed the listing agreement. They're going to list it like in a week. So she put it in the app, and while they were still in the house, after they put it in the app, Lynn, another one of our realtors, texted her and said, hey, when can I come out and look at this house? She had a buyer to buy it. So that makes you look really cool in front of your sellers. And really cool in front of your for sale by owners too. Yeah, so it's working. So you'll get that text message to know that another one's been input. So that's the capture. Any questions on the capture? A lot of it should pop up. If it's not giving you the right address, you can move the map and click on the proper house, and it'll give you the right address. The next function is the search function. Again, if you can't find anything on the MLS, or if you saw a text message come through and it said, Brett Kreger has a new listing in Mesta Park, you come into search, and then you look for it. You look for the price range that it said, you look for the city, the school district, whatever it may be, the neighborhood, if it's in Mesta Park, type in Mesta, and then you hit search, and it'll pull them all up. You can search that way. The confirm process. I've not been very good, so it says you do not have any properties to confirm at this time. But once a week, this will pop up, and it'll be the FSBOs that you went to the previous week, or whatever you inputted the previous week. It'll pop up here and make you go through and call them. So you'll click on the property. It'll have the person's name and their phone number. You call them, and then you'll just say, hey, again, do our follow-up phone call. Ask them through questions, pick up the conversation where you left it off, continue to build rapport with them, and follow up with them. If you do not confirm them for, when does it kick them off? Your junior partner or your senior partner gets reports, so if you don't confirm them, they'll know. If you're not following up properly, they'll know. And if you don't confirm them for so long, then the for sale owner will be really reassigned to someone who will follow up with them. And so it's important that you confirm them. Obviously, that's the most important function of this app. It's the reason the app was created, to give you a prompt to follow up with people. You should be doing it anyway, but sometimes people just need a reminder. So come in, confirm, call your properties. Have you done the confirm process yet?
Not yet.
You just done the input so far? Okay.
You get a text message and an email on Sunday night and Monday.
Oh, the confirm process.
Like,
Okay.
To remind you to
Okay.
do it.
Yeah. So that the app sends you a text message and an email saying,
Confirm your property.
get off your butt, confirm your properties. And then you do it. And then you get listings. Make $1 million. It's that easy.
Is that easy?
Did I miss anything on the app?
I don't think so. It's pretty simple.
I haven't been very
I
good at
would
it.
say that. So if you forget to call, if you get to pitch the idea or give the idea to the potential to the FISBO that you have the app, and you drive down the road and you're like, shit, I forgot to call this person. I forgot to mention this. You can call them like, hey, I wanted to tell you this, and then they're like, yeah, go ahead, do that. You can still get on the map from wherever you are. Search, with your thumbs, go to their house, input it that way, and you can use an existing picture for that listing. You don't have to be there to take the picture. You can find a picture from their Zillow ad or whatever, and still do all the process and inputting remotely. You don't have to be at the spot.
Yeah, and I went on 2 last week with Ben, and we forgot to do them both times. And so on the follow-up call, we're going to say, hey, we're going to pitch the app on the follow-up call. And get his permission.
Question? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably just going to be like a total competition kill and kill all the exciting in Kevo, but okay, so you guys aren't like 30 years old and signs in every single neighborhood and street right now. So I was just wondering, can you do an approach where the company calls FISBOs as a branding the company, not just each realtor trying to get all the FISBOs? Like maybe each realtor took on a certain amount of FISBOs every week and offered the person who's selling the home can come pick their realtor. We just would love to get you here at Kevo. We'd like to introduce you to our team. We have all these profiles.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to always go with just this approach of use me as your realtor, more of branding Kevo and saying so we can get signs everywhere. And not forever, but just to get Kevo's name out.
Yeah. I see.
You know
I
I
understand.
don't really know how to say it, but
I think what we tried to do with the app was piggyback off the process that's already in place, which is everyone calls as many FISBOs as they can.
Yeah.
That has been a pretty good brand awareness process for us in the past, just because every for sale by owner gets 2 or 3 Kevo calls, and so they know who Kevo Properties is. I think with that process, we might reward more higher producing realtors, because if they can pick a realtor, they're not going to pick a new person.
Right.
And we've had this discussion with letting people almost kind of look behind the curtain, as we said, and look at who's doing what production wise. And I think it might alienate. Yeah, I think it might alienate certain realtors. So we want you to be rewarded by your effort, your performance. So if you're going out and seeing 50 for sale by owners, I want you to get all 50 of them. I don't want you to go look at them because we told you to, and then let me get the listing because I've been here longer and I do more business.
Yeah,
that's what we. Yeah,
and
I see. But yeah, the idea is we want Kevo period to be the listing agent.
It's gonna help me if you get 10 signs out there.
Right.
Even though I'm not making a commission, people are seeing those signs.
Yeah.
Because when I go through neighborhoods, I'm not trying to be rude, but all I see is Keller Williams.
Yeah.
And a couple
They have
Berkshire.
they have a large market
But
share.
it's everywhere is
There you go.
Keller Williams.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking we need to get Kevo signs everywhere.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. Who cares who gets the commission? Let's just get our signs out
You
there.
will when they're yours listed.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
get
Now
it.
for a new
Yeah.
realtor,
And-
that is the best way to jumpstart your business.
Yeah.
It is the best way. And as far as promoting Kevo and all that stuff, like Brett said, anymore there are several Kevo agents